Are you ready? Are you ready to pod it up?
Let's go. Let's have fun.
Pete-cast it. This is the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast with Doug Fields,
But we are an award-winning podcast. We ought to start promoting that.
Matt McGill,
Let's soak up that awesomeness. How great is this?
Wow.
Josh Griffin,
Just to throw it in there, not all of our shows are going to be great.
and Katie Edwards.
That's what the teens are saying.
Write in. We'll answer your email.
SYMpodcast@gmail.com.
2, 3. Hey! All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast. Josh Griffin. Hello. And the Queen, Katie Edwards. This is episode 154. We are coming live from... where are we? Chicago.
You are really tired.
I haven't left the hotel since Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
Crimea River.
Okay. And so anyway, we have, and this is a
Hotels are
special
so
night
tough.
because not only is it our third or fourth time to be live.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it is Katie's 1 year podcast anniversary. Yes.
Not really.
And
She
because
didn't
of
do the
that-
show last year.
We have a cake.
Can we sing together?
No, we don't have to sing.
That's good.
You don't
Okay.
sing for anniversaries.
So last year, if some of you remember, we have a lot of team members that are here in the audience that are friends of ours that know that last year we were losing Jana to Seattle and to probably cranking out another kid. I don't remember. Motherhood. And Katie was like sitting in the back. And I had kind of begged her for a couple weeks to consider, and she's like, Doug, I don't even listen or watch the podcast. And I said, well, it's just friends talking about life and youth ministry, and we laugh and have fun, and you would be perfect. You would be way better than Natalie, and even way better than Jana. Those two combined, you would be.
And anything would be better than Matt, so it's good. It feels right.
What is the...
So anyway. We made the announcement last year, and I was texting you under the table if you were a yes or no, and you said yes, and made my heart happy.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been very, very good. But we've had a rough year, 2011. Yeah, that's the...
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Fire safety. Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
But we've had a rough year, 2011, because this is really only our second time. We celebrated 150 in December, then...
What are you talking about?
Then we did a few others.
We just haven't had many
now
this
we're
year.
here
We had
live.
the
2011.
we had the January off in our
Right.
in
Because we
life.
had things that we were doing.
Well, things we were doing.
Should we start the show?
Hey everybody! No, all right.
Anniversary, go.
So if you have had, you're here, and you have had a question answered on the show, or let's do this one first. You have had your name read.
Ooh.
We started the question, but we got sidetracked and we didn't answer it. Stand up. How many does that happen to?
Wow. All right.
Mentally tough.
Congratulations. You guys are good.
Thank you for your questions, and you're very welcome for your non-answer. There you go. Thank you.
And how many of you have had a question, your name has been on the show, you've had a question answered? Stand up.
Ah, that's impressive.
That feels pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to clap for them.
All right.
And be the only... Oh, thank you.
And there's a good chance that, stand up if you think I have somewhere in the last 154 shows lost your question.
And that's everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Good. All right.
That's probably pretty accurate. All right, this is from our buddy Mark Eads. Mark, where are you?
This is my World of Warcraft buddy.
Mark?
He's out front.
Mark right there. Hey, Mark. Mark writes in a lot.
Yeah.
He writes in a lot. And Mark, I don't read a lot of your questions, do I? Yeah, but here, I like you writing in, but your questions sometimes are too deep.
Especially right now when you're so tired.
Well, not so much shallow, but here's like,
go with shallow.
hey, can you come up with 15 reasons why we should recruit volunteers? Or, stuff like that. Yeah, but you give us good questions. They just... Plus, I feel like we get a lot of Mark Eads questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll stop
need a
for a while.
pseudonym.
No, don't. Just where's Jeff Stewart? Jeff Stewart's another big question guy. He may be. We answered between him and Mark Eads maybe the most questions. There was another guy that wrote in a lot. Who was that? Was it Jason Underwood?
He did a bunch in the
I don't
beginning.
know. That was early on. That would have been a good trivia question. Who won our first mic contest? And who'd you beat? Yeah, Slacker, whoever he was. He's not in youth ministry anymore. Yeah. But I do remember that. Yeah.
Couldn't last.
Anyway, Mark, Doug, Matt, Josh, and Katie, just want to let you know my wife and I will be in the live podcast.
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Eads. How are you?
Very nice.
That's great.
That's great.
That's great. All right. This is from Chris Mendez. Chris, are you here? Chris.
Yeah, wow.
You remember your question? I do. All right.
Stand up.
Chris, it
Chris or
seems
Christopher?
like Matt has lost some weight. What has happened to Josh?
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
Good for the throat.
I have a heart condition and I can't do any cardio anymore. And the doctors say that I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm just fat.
Just
so,
go with thyroid problem.
No, he actually didn't ask that.
you sure?
Yeah, I made that up. My name is Chris Mendez. I'm the youth pastor at Knollwood Community Church in Burke, Virginia. My question is, if you only had 9 sessions, lessons, opportunities, did you ghostwrite this for him, Mark? If you only had 9 sessions, lessons, opportunities, whatever you call it, you can meet with a believing student 9 times to help them grow in their faith, what would you do?
Oh my
So
gosh.
Chris, are you looking for topics? Like what would be, or passages?
Yeah. Like, if you only had 9 opportunities to say something, what would you say? Or what would you talk about?
Why
Like,
9? Is there a particular 9 weeks to live kind of thing, or what's the?
Well, I mean, the real story is, 9 months in a school year, and I've got like a once a month kind of deal. So I was trying to think, like, if I was to do something like 9 spiritual growth talks, like once a month kind of a deal, I could hit these topics. That's really what I was getting
Get your pen out. Ready? Josh, you start. We'll just go this way, and then just
gracious.
go. It doesn't matter if it's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go. Okay, ready? Okay, you got to be quicker. Well, let's time it.
No, you didn't say go. You said ready.
Okay, ready?
I can't think this fast.
Your
Oh,
second.
gosh.
Set, go.
Okay.
Evangelism.
Bible.
Love.
I can't not give a serious answer.
Oh my gosh.
It takes
Since
some
when?
time to think
okay,
about
skip,
that.
go.
Sex.
Wise choices.
Bible.
Friends.
Bible again.
Bible. It's Bible.
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah, I said
Bible.
Bible.
The whole Bible.
just
Are
Bible.
you pausing to?
The Bible is
It's your turn.
important.
You said
I
sex.
said-
I said wise choices.
And then I said Bible.
What about Miguel?
We skip him.
skipped it.
Yeah,
He's out.
I'm the only guy that could actually answer this
Go.
question.
Community.
Relationships beyond, beyond sex.
Parents,
Friendships.
that's 9. Done.
Done. Go. Next
All
question.
right.
Perfect.
My heart is beating
I'm
so
so
fast.
sad. Not a single Old
How to be a
Testament.
good parent? Is that what that is?
ridiculous.
Or?
No Old Testament.
I'd spend the whole year in Ecclesiastes.
That's right.
Yep.
That's true.
That's right.
That's how Jake grew up to be the fine man that he is.
Yep. All right. Gosh, this is good. All right, is Chazlet here?
Nope.
Chazlet.
That's kind of an interesting name.
Chazlet. All right.
He's just outside with Yip.
Yep.
That's good.
Totally standing by that name, by the way. That's a legitimate name.
No,
in
that's
his,
all right.
in
That's
his
great.
eyes.
Hey, speaking of that, we didn't mention that on your tables is there's a free copy of my book, What Matters Most. This is one I talk about on the podcast a lot. We should have said it's for. We should say it's for team members, don't you think?
Yep.
That if you're not a team member,
And what matters most is a little bit, it's like just highlighting that this podcast is probably something that doesn't matter most. Right? Is that kind of what we're doing?
It's up there.
Okay.
for what?
I don't know.
I don't even
Top-
get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying if there's important things in life in this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
is
Well,
on the
we've
upper
top
end of this.
five.
We have never pretended from day one this was just enough
Youth ministry. That's right. That's right.
That would have been another trivia question.
Oh yeah.
All right. So anyway, you have a should be a free book. Andy, where's Andy? How many are there? 350. So everyone in here should get one, right? All right, because
Doug-
there's not more than 350.
Doug, Brad
people.
over here was a little late. Just finished buying the book outside in the bookstore. That's why he was 5 minutes late.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome. Hey,
Should
is
be
it
on
Matt?
time.
Matt? Come here.
Brad.
Brad, come here. You can have this book. This is from Glenn Packiam. This is the one I held up when I introduced him. It's called Lucky.
The title really Lucky?
How the Kingdom Comes to Unlikely People. The reason I didn't throw it out to the crowd is I wanted it, but
doesn't even exist.
I feel bad.
Is anybody with me on that? I got one out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much your standard.
It's right. Top 1% accurate.
All right, this is, here's one from Jeff Stewart. Jeff, all right.
Oh, there he is.
Hey team, I am here somewhere at the live show. I have a question for you. I'm planning a weekend trip to a conference, and I know that I'm not going to be able to get the students to be on board or be able to attend. What I want to know is, at what percentage of your students would you call an event a success? We are going to see about 30% of our students to the conference. And I am frankly a bit bummed out that it's so low. If it matters, the cost of the event is $150. Thanks. Proud member of the team. Jeff
Proud
Stewart.
member of the team.
Great job, Jeff. Good question.
All right, host. what do you
Okay,
think?
here we go. Well, I think it really depends on the type of event or activity. If it's a missions trip, I'd say the percentage is going to be, significantly smaller than an outreach event where you're bringing your friends to. I think student leadership would be smaller than that as well. I would say it really depends on what you're going for. I think there probably are some rules of thumb that we could develop or talk about or brainstorm quick, but I would say it varies from event to event.
Well, I think history is also important. Like 30% might be disappointing, but if last year you had 25% or whatever, I mean, I think if the camp or event like this thing is growing each year, then that's cool, that's great. And if it's staying about the same, but you still have momentum in your ministry, you're still seeing some good things come out of it, then I think that's great. I think where a percentage or something like that is a drag is when you see each year it shrinking. That to me is clearly when it's a drag, but a percentage of the whole, I mean, it's hard for me to judge something just on that.
It's hard to measure success too, I think sometimes only on the front end based on signups and stuff, because I don't know, there's a lot of things that I've done in my ministry where I haven't had maybe the numbers that I've thought, but at the event, embracing who is there and being excited about investing in, if it's the small number that is there, sometimes there's just total success in being able to embrace a smaller number or less than you thought, and you might see growth, success, chance for investment that you might not have. So I think, there's some measuring of success on the front end, but I don't know, it's hard to do all of it on the front end, some of it on the...
By show of hands, how many of you in here would say that when you plan an event, you have a number in your mind of this is what I want to see?
Oh, yeah.
How many do that?
Every time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How often are you disappointed?
Every time.
Yeah?
No, I mean, if you were to say, what would be a
sad
healthy
life.
percentage of small groups that that are in small groups compared to your entry-level service or your youth group or whatever, what number would you throw out? Let's just do one as an example. What percentage in small groups would be healthy
From your
student ministry or whatever?
based on, so you have your entry-level program, then you're saying your small groups are next?
Yeah. What would be a healthy percentage?
I would say 50% would be
I
healthy.
was going to say 60 would be great.
Yeah, you always try to up me.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
I
you
do,
have,
all
you have
the
a little
time.
more faith.
I do. I just a little closer to God, I guess.
You do have a prayer posture that I don't.
I do, and in a session I got to really use it too. It was really great.
Oh,
You slipped into that so natural.
She called, the speaker called for a prayer posture, and I was like, thank you. I've waited for this moment. I just laid down right there. It was beautiful.
That's good.
Very, very special moment.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Hey, also, one of the things with the crowd, especially team members that are regulars, Rewind, 00 Club, or just, other team members, I thought it'd be fun if we did a little podcast questions. Like, what questions do you have about the podcast? What's amazing, though, is just even the trivia question that they pretty much shouted out every cup that we've ever had, from Wiener Schnitzel to Taco Bell to Del Taco to others. But be thinking of a podcast question.
Vitamin water.
Jeff, what do you think? What's your answer for success?
Hello. I'm going to aim, I want 50 at least for a bigger event. I mean, an outreach event, 80 would be great. So for this one, I think we don't have a big history with it, so I'm setting my sights high, but when you have to pre-buy tickets and lay the money out, you kind of have to be realistic.
Yeah.
So that's when I said 35, I wish it was 70, but I mean, for the 35 that come, we're going to make it, the 35%, we're going to make it amazing for them.
Great.
And I just throw this in as well. Just because an event or an activity, whatever, has a small percentage doesn't mean you should get rid of it. In fact, maybe you're trying to, missions is a big deal for you. You're going to do serve projects. And the first time you do it, 6 kids show up, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is incredible, or that might have the opposite reaction. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. I would say if this is a value, if you're trying to encourage your students, lead them through those percentages, even if they're maybe feel like failures at first.
Yeah, that's good. This gives you opportunity to mock me.
I would never do such a thing.
Think of an old line that I've used for years in my training about.
We just did this at dinner.
What?
As commitment increases, attendance decreases.
Yeah.
That's not mocking.
Well, thank you. I don't remember it at dinner. Maybe it's after I left.
That's good.
Yeah, I think when it comes to events, as you can't expect the same type of attendance at a deeper level event.
Absolutely.
So, what I've said is as your spiritual commitment increases, your attendance is going to decrease. So, all right.
Why would anybody make fun of that?
I don't know. You typically don't need a reason. All right. So questions about the podcast.
Cool.
Okay. How's our live show doing, Chris?
It's a little distracting. I'm trying not to read it.
Oh, great.
Video editing programs.
That's good.
Wow.
As that's what we're thinking about. All right, Jake,
Hello.
where are you going?
About grabbing a microphone for Chris. I thought I'd be proactive and give him a microphone.
All right. Do we have any podcast questions? Anything you wanted to know about the podcast that we typically don't do we don't take those types of questions on the air? Yeah.
Did you just build that room just for the podcast, or is that used for anything else?
Did we build that room? So this is our second room of the podcast. Our first one was at our old offices. Then what happened is Andy Brazelton, when he moved to Colorado, he emptied us of our warehouse, and now all the shipping goes out of Colorado, which that was my only favorite part of Simply Youth Ministry office was the warehouse. The tape machine was awesome. The shrink wrapper was awesome. There was just awesome things in there, and Andy very selfishly took all the toys to Colorado, so we had to move into a smaller office.
He could do that.
And the smaller office has 2, 3, 4, 5 offices.
Yeah.
And one of them is kind of the conference room. We just turned it into the podcast.
Yeah, we just have hijacked spaces in both places, and that's how it's a little studio.
We didn't really
Very
build the
high
room.
production.
No, it's just like your basic crappy office, and we just hung the Simply Youth Ministry sign in the back and then stapled the pictures of everybody on the wall. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But good question. That's insider.
As the host of the show, any other questions that you guys might have? Anybody at all?
Is that someone in the back?
Yes,
Yeah.
right here. See that hand?
Chris just said I got caught chatting about other things. Can you tell you how often the live chat actually is not talking about anything that you guys are talking
Do
about?
they tell us how often the live
Does Chris
chat?
tell you how often that we're all talking about something?
Not
totally
really. Really what we do is we don't really, we love the live chat, but we really don't care. Yeah, we really don't care.
Those two aren't compatible.
We see Chris
No, we
giggle a lot.
we like
behind the screen.
My favorite, honestly, was when Brazelton would do it a long time ago.
Someone's name is Nerdy Lutheran Chick.
Andy would do it because Andy would he'd start laughing. Chris is straight face. Chris doesn't really laugh much. He
an
just
IT
goes
guy.
on and.
Although Josh makes me laugh sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you.
They want to know why you call it an award-winning podcast.
Why do we call it an
that's
award-winning podcast?
It's one
Wait.
I don't know why.
I bet you $20.
Oh,
Katie
no way.
Katie doesn't know.
Yeah, not a chance.
I don't.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
You know? You remember?
Quick 20, you're welcome.
Collide magazine.
Yeah, when it first started, like year one, Collide magazine,
Yeah.
which was like an offshoot of Wired or
I don't know.
Christianity Today or something.
That was it.
I don't know. It was some magazine, they gave us Best of Something podcast, and we touted that one for 5 years now.
Yeah, still, and
Yeah.
running. It's still going.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that maybe after having tea with Terrence today, that he could get churchleaders.com to give us some
Officially,
award.
Yeah, endorse and
Do you
award
think?
us.
Who knows?
Okay, maybe you could start a new category.
Did we just give them promotion?
Yeah, we gave them promotion.
So if
Churchleaders.com.
we get an award, then it's not
I'll
really
take
an
any award.
Okay.
Any award for the podcast.
You know,
yeah.
if you want to sell your
Ryan.
soul.
Are you guys gonna do a new intro video anytime soon, or a new intro bit?
You mean we don't have a new intro bit?
Well, we have the audio, but not the animation.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No budget.
Yeah.
And
That's
Andy Brazel fan, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
Andy's middle name right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds all right. Let's go. Let's go somewhere. How? You know what? Tonight I think we're gonna go to Steak and Shake. And if you guys want to join us, I'm not really going there. I'm really tired.
Yeah.
But
Did you
it's right
shower
down the
today?
road. Yeah.
Have you showered since you've been here?
Every day. What in the world is happening?
Well, you're just
Your hair.
your hair looks a little greasy.
Your hair.
You look
Well, I
vagabondish.
tried a new product. It's called
Sweat. Nasty. Narnia.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right. Any other questions
just
about the
ruined my soul.
podcast?
That was funny.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so we've got the Rewind group that went back and then Double Zero group that started. What about the people who started at the very beginning, got totally like turned off by the not funny stuff, but then picked it up back again later when they're actually in youth ministry?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody that got turned off by the not funny stuff, other than people who think they're funny who aren't. But
I didn't know it was testimony time.
Judas, thank you for that question. Good. Anybody else? Yeah.
you know what? If you gave us an award, you could be back in. No, that's all right.
That's funny.
You know, I would like to just take a moment right here and say that I just found out that this week, morethandodgeball.com is giving an award to this podcast. I'm sorry. I was really excited about it. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? That falls under A for content, C minus for delivery.
Sorry.
That was the McGill delivery right
I'm
there.
excited about that. I'm waiting for the moment. There it was. All
All
right.
right. Any other questions about
Here,
the
timing's important.
Jeff?
Wait, Jet, another
already
question?
asked him.
I,
Yeah, I feel
I
like-
have
why don't we
I have a
spread the
statement.
love?
I would just like for the team to know that Katie did approach me on the first night of the conference and apologize to me for calling me creepy in front of everybody.
That
was
you
your
made it
picture.
right. You made it
Jeff
right.
was the first person I saw, and I had some anxiety about seeing you because I felt so terrible.
Why would you feel terrible?
Well,
If
because
that's your
I
response.
Let's do
didn't
this.
say it out loud.
Let's involve the people that maybe don't know. Is that one of the pictures that Jeff sent in is Jeff sends a picture of himself in the office, and he's got a bunch of photographs of kids in his youth group behind there.
Faces.
Which is a cool, like I'm going, that's a great youth worker who wants his kids there to pray
Yes.
for them, learn names, and Katie calls him a lurker.
Yeah.
Now, what'd you call him?
Creepy guy.
A
Yeah,
creeper.
Yeah, that was it.
In a whisper to Doug, I said, "Oh, that's a little creepy." Then Doug says, "Oh, Katie thinks this is super duper creepy," and I was joking with you.
Well, what do you think? I mean, now you've met him in person.
No, I think he's great. We had a
I
great
don't know.
conversation.
He's great for a creeper.
Yeah. I'm on the fence. I think you might have been right.
No, first night we got
Just
scared away.
berating all
Night
of
one.
our team members here.
No, he's a good.
You guys are all mean.
Hey, this is Jeff. Jeff is a team member. His name is Jeff Hawkins, youth pastor at First Baptist Church in Chehalis, Washington, and a member of the 00 Club.
All right.
What? Is he here?
You just know the
right
place.
there.
There he is.
It's pronounced
Jeff?
Louisville.
That doesn't
Stand
look
up
like
again.
Jeff.
Chehalis. Okay, stand up if I've ever read your letter and just hacked your name.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Did I?
Oh, that's
Well, I'm
good.
tired, so maybe.
It's amazing.
All right.
Maybe we could actually do a question.
Says, I remember Katie was overseeing all the volunteers a while back when he visited, when he came to a PDYM back in 2003. Love having you on the podcast, Katie, and part of the SYM team, and he's looking forward to seeing all of us in Chicago.
Oh.
There you go.
Cool.
I'm looking at trying to better manage my volunteers. And I'm wondering about the processes or stages that Saddleback went through, and Katie being volunteer coordinator. I'm currently the only paid youth staff. We see about 75 different students each week, with almost 200 on our mailing list. We currently have 25 active volunteer staff members on our team. My weeks are getting crammed full, and I often feel as if I'm missing opportunities with staff, students, and in prep times. Looking for a better way to manage my time and my volunteers, who after all are doing most of the youth ministry I just teach. Thanks for any input and or advice. And he has a photograph in front of his library, and I appreciate that he has the Doug Fields books turned out.
Is it creepy at all?
No, it's not creepy. It's actually, I think he's godly. Yeah. Katie, what do you think?
I think that's a great question. I definitely think
Deeper
probably
cut.
most of us in this room can identify with issues with volunteers and growing our leadership teams. I think, as your number of leaders increase, your time with students probably decreases a little bit, and that I know that that's tough because when we come into student ministry, a lot of us come in so excited about working with students, but as we multiply ourselves and our teams grow, I think it's so important that we begin the shift process to leadership development and spending and investing our time with some of our adult leaders, and then knowing that those leaders are going to be pouring into students. And so, I think, 25 leaders, that's a lot of leaders. And so even finding a couple of maybe veteran leaders in that team of 25 to come alongside of you and mentor other new leaders that are coming in, I think if you can even multiply yourself on another level with a guy and a girl that you really trust to kind of pour into leaders. But yeah, I think as that team grows, your time with those leaders probably needs to be increased, and the investment time and the time that you spend with them, knowing that they're going to be pouring into students. And you might do a little bit of less student ministry time with students, but your ministry, I think, will see fruit in that. So
That's great. I've called it the great bait and switch of youth ministry, is that you get into youth ministry because you want to spend time with kids, and you realize that to be effective in spending time with kids, you have to develop leaders. And so you went in it because you love teenagers, but the majority of your time gets spent developing leaders. I think if you're the leader of the ministry, whether it's a volunteer or a paid position, the primary amount of your relational time should be spent with your leaders. That you are modeling to them what you want them to do with teenagers. So when I take a volunteer out to lunch or something like that, I'm modeling that relational ministry that I want him to do with his small group of guys. When I send him an affirmation letter, I'm hoping that he'll catch that vision and do that with his guys as well. But it really is a paradigm shift. I wrote in your first 2 years of youth ministry, probably the biggest learning I had, and it took me too long to learn it, probably after 10 years. The biggest learning I had is that the best ministry time I spent was developing leaders. Because every time that, when I spent time with Jim McNeff, and he had 6 kids in a small group, every time Jim was spending time with his 6 kids, in a very real way, I was spending time with those 6 kids as well. But it is a bait and switch, and it takes a slow. To me, yeah, it doesn't. It's not one of those things that you can hear at a conference or reading a book and go, "Oh, I get it. I'll do it tomorrow." Because you're bummed that you can't spend as much time with kids. Now, on the other end, after 29 years of being full time in the church as a volunteer, it's awesome. I spend more time with kids as a volunteer than I did probably in the last 10 years of working in the church.
But I think the area of leadership development too, if you can kind of embrace it and open yourself up to it, becomes another really sweet aspect of student ministry. I love being with volunteers because we're like-minded and we love students and sharing stories, and I think it can become a really sweet part of your role also, along with students, and so, for me, I have my student small group that I pour into, but I enjoy so much spending time with leaders because it's just embraced it, and it's become something really sweet to be a part of.
But do you think it's been an age thing too? I mean, not that you're old.
I'm getting up there.
No, you're not. How old are you?
36.
36.
Yes. Yeah, it feels...
I'm 40.
Yeah.
You're not
40?
40 yet.
You're not 40.
38. I wish I
You're
was
like
40.
multiple away.
It's not
You can't.
40.
It's close to 40.
Closer than us, yes.
Any other 36? 36?
74. What's up?
1974, baby. What's up?
No, I think.
62?
Anybody else 62 years old? Oh, she said 19. Oh, sorry.
Oh, man.
No.
One thing on this, you asked specifically about volunteers and what to do to better manage that because you have a time crunch. I think from the time crunch perspective, it would be worth it to stop and think: is there anything you're doing that somebody else could be doing? And so maybe you can find some more time or make some more time, which obviously is impossible, but you know what I'm talking about, is that you would make some more time by getting rid of some of your other things. I think that the danger would be, which kind of already talked about, so I'll just say the same thing and try and sound smart, is the danger would be is if you cut away all your time with your volunteers or a significant part of it. I think that you don't want to make your volunteer care structure so efficient that you don't spend time with your volunteers, because that would hurt your ministry in the long run.
Yeah, but there are times when, as Katie mentioned, you've got some veteran volunteers that are ready for that next level of ministry. And for them, a next level of ministry isn't with kids.
It's to be a coach.
It's to coach or mentor some of your other leaders, and you wind up spending time with them.
Yep.
You know, as when you and I were on the same team doing high school ministry, and we just experienced some phenomenal growth, and we had to find leaders fast. We wound up kind of taking our care structure and breaking it out, where we were spending time with 5 or 6 key leaders who were then spending time with 5 to 8 key leaders as well.
Totally.
Yeah, but it didn't start that way.
Well, it did for me because I learned from your mistakes.
That's good. Hey, speaking of that, Matt, for those of you that don't know, Matt McGill is the high school pastor. He left the bosom of Simply Youth Ministry to go out on his own, feeling God's call after a 5-year wasteland in adult ministry, and
Is that what you call it?
yeah, has been at a church now for 2 months. You want to give us any update on that? Because every text, Haytel, and phone message I get from you is, I wish I could describe how excited I am.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I did high school ministry here for 11 years, and it was awesome, and left that. It was hard.
Quit that?
But I quit that.
Okay, let me demonstrate how Matt quit. Okay, here's the day Matt quit. It's a painful day, but it's like this. We're supposed to go out to lunch. We're supposed to go out to lunch, and he walks by my office. I said, "You ready to go?" He says, "Hey, can I talk to you real quick before we go?" And I said, "Sure." And he sits down and he goes, "I gotta quit." Like out of the blue. It wasn't like, it was just, "I gotta quit." And I'm like, I thought he was kidding.
Yeah, I know. But then I wasn't. So
No,
I
you
quit.
weren't.
I got the point across.
Yeah, you did get the point across.
Oh,
was good.
gosh, why?
I gotta
It's
quit.
like 6 years. What are we doing here? Just
Bringing it up.
That's
Bringing
right.
it up.
Oh, gosh.
Did I hear Misha's cackle?
That was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Misha McGill. Misha, stand up.
Oh, gosh. No, so I left youth ministry and quit Doug, mostly because I just quit Doug. And awesome 5-year journey of doing ministry in different contexts and different things at Saddleback. But a year ago today, we're sitting here at the conference, and Brazelton and I were talking about the possibility of me leaving Saddleback to do some writing. And, I figured I'd be doing that for a couple of years. I mean, I figured that it would be, that was like the next stage of my life. And
It was fun every day.
Yeah.
We got to sit across the same table
was
together,
great.
eat meals.
It was great.
And 6 months later,
I quit again. I know, but this time I just had to quit to Brazel, not to you. So
That's true.
it was a lot. No, so high school ministry, this has been so great. I mean, I feel like I've never left. I feel like I'm alive again. I don't feel like I made a mistake leaving youth ministry before. To be honest, and even though it was painful, it was the right thing. I've done youth ministry at a great church for whatever years, I can't even remember now, and I had so much fun. I'm back doing youth ministry again, but I feel like it's the greatest challenge. Thanks, God. But I feel like it's the greatest. I feel like I'm at the middle of the greatest challenge of my life, and I love it, and it's just exciting. I mean, I don't know if you wanted more than that.
No,
I mean,
I just love your excitement.
Yeah,
I love your excitement. This is from Sean Guerin, middle school youth pastor at Grace Evangelical Church in Stamford, Connecticut. Hey all, love the show, blah, 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 blah. Here's the question.
Say I was the best part of the show? Oh, no, they didn't.
Nope. Since taking over the program in the summer, I have a group of 4 to 6 disinterested young people, who have now become 17 to 18 young people who are having fun, consistently attending. I've begun a discipleship group, and I see some of the kids are doing 10-minute moments, which is one of our products, like a daily devotional thing. 10-minute moments every day. Since the kids looked like they were going to die during Sunday services, I started taking the kids downstairs, teaching them, playing games, doing morning service, etc. Cool. Kids who just happen to come to church in the morning are so impressed with our group that they end up coming to our Sunday night services. That's the backstory. One of the elders' wives.
That's the moment.
Dun, dun, dun. AKA spawn of Satan.
She does not approve of something going on and wants to shut it down. Surprise, surprise.
All right.
Twist. She wants to be a volunteer and loves it so much, and he's writing in to celebrate her.
Twist. One of the elders' wives went ahead and bought a program for the kids, Dave Ramsey's Financial Junior Curriculum. The pastor told me that teaching Sunday mornings wasn't in my job description, so now they're going to handle this great group over to this woman. I'm worried it will mess with the momentum I have with the kids, and it'll derail the spiritual message I've been bringing to them, since it's all about finance. He knows they may revolt. They did before when they tried to teach the old curriculum, and so he wants me to be there to endorse it, which I don't want to do. Can I fight this idea and argue against it? Should I put my foot down and say, no, don't mess with the flow of the group? Or do I be a butt kisser who does what I'm told? Hope you can help. P.S. My wife hates when I listen to you guys in bed and I burst out laughing, waking her up. She punches and yells at me, but it's worth it.
Oh, wow. My favorite
There
part
might
of that
be some other problems
was
there.
a couple wives patting their husbands on the shoulder like, you do that. In particular right here. Yeah.
Mark, did you listen to it in bed? Like, a we?
A we?
But at least
That's
is,
awesome.
Okay.
while you're playing the Wii.
What was the question again?
What's happening? What's happening right now?
Yeah, they just experience when Matt does his own little thing that he thinks is going to be funny, and only one of his personalities thought it was funny, and the rest of us don't get it.
It was strong bit. No one was listening.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised you didn't show up strong with
I
this
agree.
person.
I was waiting for Matt to jump all over this one. Go. 3, go. 2, 1, go.
Go.
Just give
Go.
truth.
No.
It's so hard when I
Knowledge, that's right, sorry.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't have, for those of you that don't watch the show or listen to the show, Matt doesn't have ideas or opinions, he just has knowledge.
Just pure wisdom proceeds from your mouth.
You know what? In front of a live crowd, you are so.
Well, you said but
you
not.
are so much softer.
You're so tame right now.
You're kind of a sellout.
You were like,
They came to see a spectacle. They want to be entertained.
Look at, we have hundreds of
You
people
said
here,
you
and
would-
you're going like a little gentle lamb.
oh my
Because
know,
I'm not really, I'm a character on the
I'm the only one
show.
that's awake right now, paying attention. I don't.
Okay.
You said
Elder's
don't
wife
talk
is
over
so-
each other. Oh,
Go.
goodness.
Come on.
Go. Look, here's the thing. It's a good start.
I'm in. I'm back in.
I'm gonna wind you up.
Back in. Come on. Get
Oh,
fired up.
my
This is
goodness.
serious.
Here's the
Okay,
thing.
let me bring it up to you. Ready?
Should
Just
give
get
me
ready.
should.
Yeah,
Get ready.
Here it comes.
Get ready. Can I fight against this idea and argue against it? Should I put my foot down and say, no, don't mess with the flow of the group? Or do I be a butt kisser who does what I'm told? What do I do?
Be the
Well,
real
you
Miguel.
definitely can't be a butt kisser. I mean,
Like
that's-
you are right now.
I don't even get that. That doesn't even make
Oh,
sense.
That's funny.
you're a lot more aggressive when it's just the four of us in a room with Chris.
You like were going to crucify me if I talked over anybody else, so I'm just trying to be respectful
I say that every
of my
time we do a
elders.
podcast. I say, let's don't talk over each other.
That's right. Okay,
All right.
here's the deal.
Go
you
ahead, Sophie.
absolutely have to say something. I mean, but there is the possibility that the senior pastor doesn't want you teaching, and if he doesn't want you teaching, then you have to do what you're told to do. I mean, you can't create a splinter group and be bitter and be pissed on your own, but you have to say something. I mean, you have to say something, but it's worth it to not say something in front of the kids and let the kids know how bummed you are. And maybe you don't even say something directly to this lady because she's not the one who's carrying this out, but you should say something to the person you report to. If you're called to teach something and that's what you're passionate about, you got to stick by your passion and you got to teach. I mean, that's...
All right, here's what we're going to do.
That's what I think.
You got a pen on you?
Yeah.
I want you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, write how much you think that was
A
Matt
sellout
McGill.
answer?
Oh,
Okay, ready?
goodness. I already know. I'll tell you the numbers. You're going to do 2. You're going to be nice and do 3.
10's the highest.
10's highest, 1 to
And
10.
Katie's my closest friend.
Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay, reveal on 3. 1, 2, 3.
3.
No.
What'd you say?
guys,
5?
This is
Go 5.
ridiculous.
Okay, 3, 5, 3.
We
Okay,
got a little bit of your Spitfire.
You know what? Let's do it
a
again.
bit.
Let's do it again.
Well,
Let's
this
start
is-
over.
No, that's all right.
Oh, this is perfect. Look at this.
That's good.
I don't even know what
He
number
got a
that is.
7 from, was that
That's
an
a
8?
7?
Oh,
It's 8.
An
Yeah,
8,
that's
an 8 from the disher.
An
It's
8
only-
would
it's
require
only-
All right,
an
hey,
edit.
let's just reverse roles. Josh, why don't you give a strong opinion?
Here's what you do. Listen to me. You go in there and you give them the big picture. They clearly don't understand what's going on. They're making this decision in isolation. You go in with the right heart and you say, listen, here's what's going on. Will you please reconsider? And you might be right and you'll get your way. Or you might be wrong. And maybe you don't have the big picture and they have an even bigger picture. And they're watching out for your health and they're caring for you. And they really are trying to protect you, even though it doesn't feel like that. So show them the big picture and see if they have a bigger one. And there you
Yeah,
go.
because the truth is you might suck at teaching, and maybe the video is better than you.
That's a little bit more like Matt
that's
McGill.
right.
Thank you.
I don't know
Okay.
if this person's here, by the way. I hope they didn't stand up.
No, there's nothing worse than feeling like you're getting a little traction, you're getting a little momentum, and someone comes in and disrupts that. And there's a whole bunch of different scenarios this could happen in. So they might not understand, or maybe they do. But either way, have a conversation.
You gotta
present
say
your
something.
side.
You gotta
and
say
then,
something.
Well, if they're going to take the Sunday morning away from you, if I was already committed to the
Yeah.
Sunday morning, I'd sit in there with them, be supportive, not be divisive. Who knows? It may turn out to only be a 6-week series with the Dave Ramsey thing, and be great to teach kids biblical foundation for money.
Yeah.
Maybe you find that this lady doesn't have the spiritual gift of teaching, and you get your Sunday morning back.
Yeah.
What's 6 weeks?
No.
It's a
I
little bit
think
more than a month.
anytime you're feeling something in leadership, you've got to attack it with an honest conversation. You know, anytime you're feeling any kind of conflict arising, you won't know until you go in
Yeah.
with the right heart, like you said,
Absolutely.
but you've just got to go for those conversations.
Is this a battle worth fighting?
Yeah.
I would say, based on the way you crafted the email to us, the way
Yes.
it seems like you feel,
Absolutely.
it's totally worth fighting. Go for it. Make a case. The end.
There you
All
go.
right.
Do you want to keep this?
A gentler, tamer Matt.
Person that lives in the
Now,
house?
sign that and we'll put it up on eBay. Give the money to goats.
I'm just not feeling lucky today.
Nice.
To buy goats. It's a
Good.
long
Were you
story.
even in the general session tonight?
I was not in the general session
Oh,
tonight.
I thought that was
Yeah.
feeling lucky. I thought that was a callback
No,
to
it
the
was a
general
callback from the book.
Oh.
Yeah,
Maybe you
that-
were walking away and I saw
That
the
was his
title.
talk tonight. He did the luck.
It was called Lucky.
This is
Yeah.
from Lonnie
Unfortunate title.
Ron.
Ranch.
Raw. Sounds like wow.
Don't you
no,
prep
sounds
these?
like wow. Lonnie,
Sounds like wow. Oh yeah. Raw.
Wow.
Could be German.
Rao.
All right.
Lonnie Rao.
It's from Bill.
Hello, Doug, Matt, Katie, and Josh. My name is Lonnie Rao. I have been watching the show since episode 146. That's next week.
No, we're
Oh,
56.
we're 56. That's right. All right.
It's a letter from the future.
We haven't done a lot of shows, so it's
I'm in the process
2
of
months, 6
rewinding from 00. My goal is to make the rewind wall someday,
healthy
which is
goal.
a Heidi goal.
why.
I have been doing youth ministry for 18 years. Hey, what about Jeff, who we had dinner with tonight?
Yeah.
He may be the only guy
now
in the
that-
room.
yeah.
The only guy in the room that's done this.
Yeah.
Should we sell him out?
I think we should. Jeff listened to the show
All
all the way through, 00 to present. and is restarted back at 0-0 and is now on what, 46?
I don't know, Jeff.
On a second?
No, he's almost done all of them.
Do you ever listen in bed? No.
That's good.
Might want to try it. They highly recommend it over there.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he's listened to every show twice, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
We'll give you a free What Matters Most. All right.
Is amazing the right word for that? It could
No.
be amazingly sick. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I got a free dinner.
Okay.
Good.
So Lonnie Rao has been doing youth ministry for 18 years, 8 of them as a volunteer youth pastor. I have a full-time youth pastor for 2 days as of March 1st. I would like to put in a plug for your Life Hurts, God Heals curriculum for the whole team. My wife is heading it up in our church, and we are seeing tremendous healing take place in the lives of our students. As a youth pastor, we can all beat our head against the wall when trying to help students with their pain and addiction. Life Hurts, God Heals walks them through all their pain with a step-by-step approach. It's the best thing we have implemented in our youth group. Now we have many adults in our church anxious to start a Celebrate Recovery program for the adults, all because of Life Hurts, God Heals. As I step into vocational ministry, what are some things that you've learned on your own that you wish someone would have warned you about before you stepped into your role? What kind of pitfalls, waste of time things, how to deal with difficult people, just some seasoned advice for a newbie like myself would be great. Thanks for being there. I feel like we're old friends. Not really a newbie if he's been doing youth ministry for 18 years. Matt, you're a newbie in your role. What advice would you give?
Well, that's good. I mean, 18 years, I mean, it's got more experience than everybody up here except for you. I mean, so it seems like they should be up here. But I can tell you where I'm spending my time. I mean, I'm in a new role and only 9 weeks in. And for me, it's learning who the kids are and learning who the volunteers are it's like so important. The relationships are huge. Now, I'm also, have to spend time like getting to know other people on church staff and relationships and stuff like that, which is normally where I don't go. But for me, time out of the office and with our leaders and with some of our students, I'm trying to make sure I do that at least twice a week. But I don't know. I mean, I feel totally overwhelmed, and I was ready to be overwhelmed walking into this, but being ready to be overwhelmed didn't do anything for me to be prepared for that. I mean, it still is just an avalanche of details and history and things to do and just all the stuff it takes to run a ministry. So the relationships, I would just say building and getting to know some kids and some leaders.
All right. I'm gonna give the advice that I gave earlier about investing in leaders on the bait and switch question. What do you got, Katie?
I would say keep it simple. Don't try. I think sometimes we try to complicate ministry and try to figure out that what's new or what's the most intricate way to do something or how to make it flashy or whatever. And I think just keep it simple. Love God, nurture your soul, and love people, your students, your leaders, your parents. I think ministry to me, gets simpler the longer that I'm in it because I think that's what matters most.
I think when I started in youth ministry, I didn't understand the depth of loneliness that I would feel. And for years in ministry, thinking I was the only person who's ever been through this, the only youth pastor who has ever screwed up like this, and the only one and it was always alone, and I think much, much later now, whatever years in, I feel like community, which is starting to really happen, and networking and all that stuff, is critically important. If you don't have that, you're not going to make it. And I realize that some people, this show is part of that community, that you're not alone and all that. But I would say it's got to be local network. It's got to be even annual events like this where you're together with like-minded people. You see faces. The hugs are different when you know somebody's in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
And boy, those first 6 years before I kind of figured that out, they were brutal.
Yeah.
So to anyone 18 years in or first couple years, get in community.
Yeah. And we hear that a lot. Just by show of hands, how many of you feel like when you listen to the podcast, you feel like you're part of a team? Okay? Yeah, look at that. That's just, I think that for me, and let's just go around on this one, about what do you like most about the podcast, about doing this? We're at 155, your first year. That was a game changer for me. And I don't know what episode 50 or 40 or something, because we kept going. And this is true, and this would be the second thing, is that I would do this if nobody listened, because it's just so fun for us to be together and to laugh and then go out to have lunch and experience community and with people that you really, really love and would take a bullet for. But I think around episode 40 or something, when we kept saying, why would people listen? And then we started hearing from people going, I work alone, the podcast feels like my staff meeting. Totally. Or, I'm by myself, and this is my sense of connectedness. For me, that was a game changer. I went, okay, then this is worth, trying to find the questions and printing them out last minute and dealing with McGill and, all this stuff. So.
All the prep work that goes, oh, wait, we don't prep. Okay.
Hours of prep. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun. What I love about doing the podcast is it's just fun to be with us and to hang out. I mean, this is like you just said, this is not a whole lot different than our conversations. If we were to meet for lunch on a day that wasn't a podcast day, it would be very similar to this. And to me, that's just fun. I mean, we do more than just talk about stuff that doesn't matter. We'll talk about ministry issues that we're facing, and so I like that. I mean, I like it's just an extension of who we are, and hopefully, if it actually helps, one or two people in the process, then that's great.
And so, making this commitment in front of several hundred people.
Yes.
Are you, now that you're got a job, are you going to stay committed to the podcast?
Well, that I could say, I think so. How's that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was
definitive again.
Yeah, that was committed.
That was committed. No, I'm planning on it, of course.
All right.
Of course. I mean, as long as you can fit into my schedule, it'll be great.
Katie, do you have, after a year, do you have anything that you like about it?
Well, I love being with you guys. But I think the thing that's been the most fun for me is, the role that I'm currently in, I've only been in for a little over a year, even though I've been doing junior high ministry a long time. I'm kind of the lead youth pastor now of a junior high ministry, and I just think all of your questions have just challenged me and made me think, about my own setting and thinking about your setting and hearing about what you're going through. And I feel like I've struggled a ton with loneliness in the last year, and I feel like when I come to the podcast, it just feels like, oh, I'm home. I'm kind of among friends, and we're all in it together and being challenged and growing, and I don't know, I think that's what I've enjoyed the most.
Good.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the food afterwards we go out and eat. That's it. It's the best.
That's why you're there.
Yeah. Otherwise, no. No, it's very refreshing, for sure. Like, it is a little oasis of fun and humor and friendships and content. I think that's been said, though. I'll go a different direction. I like it when we agree because we're extremely like-minded, but there's little different perspectives of age and opinion and tenderness and newbie and all that. And I also like when we disagree. I really enjoy it when we have an opinion that doesn't match up and we can defend it. I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's good.
I learn a lot from you guys, and I'm not going to cry. I promise myself. And I'm not going to cry.
How many shows in do you think it was before Josh ever had his own opinion?
Oh, well, I really appreciate the growth in Josh through that. I mean, really.
No, well, you used to tease him hard about
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying, and I stopped because he stopped being so wishy-washy.
That is absolutely true. There you go.
Great.
What about that?
There you go. We agree.
That's right.
Not wishy-washy at all.
I
Or
think
was
you-
it?
I-
Was it kind of?
That was
Wait,
good.
what do you think,
I
really?
think you have more conviction than McGill does tonight.
Absolutely, I
All right,
do.
let's do this. We come to a place where we said it was 10 to 11, but is there anything, it'd be interesting for us to know where you listen to this. So we know the Eads listen to this in bed.
Just kind of
Together. There's two bed groups.
There's people online
Really?
watching it in bed together. Okay.
There are so many. I'm just not going to say anything, but it's just funny.
Yeah, that's good.
I really
Keep
want
your
to.
mouth
That's
shut.
discernment.
Yeah.
Right there.
My wife's in North Carolina right now watching this. I'm
It-
texting her right now.
Is that right? Your wife's watching it. What's your
So
name?
cool.
I'm Mike.
Mike
Hey.
what?
Hilt.
Mike Hilt. Mike Hilt's wife, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Mike is here. He's liquored up. I I don't know. He's sitting
warmed up
on a
the room right
cheerleader's
there.
lap. I don't know what that means.
It's weird. It's really weird.
Oh, that's not
All right.
inappropriate.
Hey, Danette, where do you listen to the podcast?
The first Aggie podcast I listened to on my iPod walking my dog.
On your iPod, walking
Yeah.
your dog.
Yeah.
Walking your dog. There you
Bumped
go.
into a few trees, but whatever.
That's good.
That's awesome. Has anyone had a car accident while listening to the show? Maybe because of you what? Almost drove off the res.
Was it his cackle?
It's because of Matt McGill's laugh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. How many?
Cool. Where
of you-
else? Anybody?
Yeah.
Any other places that you listen to the show?
Yeah.
You can talk loud.
Yeah, just shout it out.
Jake, could you hustle?
I thought because you guys were moving slow, I could move slow.
First time watching the show right here. My youth pastor, Chris Dortch, his youth pastor, Doug King. Doug's been at the same church youth pastor for 25 years. So
Doug
just wanted to
King.
really promo Doug.
That's
But
cool.
first time watching it. Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
Oh, first time watcher.
And,
All right.
and you know what, Chris
sorry for that.
Chris Dortch, you've written in
What a
before. Have you written in before?
Not that I recall.
No? I feel like the Dortch.
No, there was something like that. You were just reading it a few days ago.
A Dortch?
Yeah, because I just thought that was an unfortunate last name.
All right, let's do this. Let's end with for those of you who are team members, and rewind or 0-0 or just team members, a favorite podcast moment.
Easy.
We'll end there. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah.
Episode on failures.
Isn't every episode like that?
Oh, really? That was good?
That we did 2 themed shows. We've done failure and volunteers over 154 shows. So that's interesting to maybe note.
So, but is the note that it was failures, or is it the note that it was a theme show?
Just the
Both,
impact
both,
it had
both,
when you
both,
guys shared
both,
the stories
both,
of your
both,
failures.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yes.
Also-
both, he said.
Okay. Yeah.
My favorite was the 100th when you try to fix up your oldest daughter with one of the attendees.
Talk about, yeah.
In a related story.
Did you talk about that one in your parenting seminar?
No, that didn't come up in my parenting seminar.
That could have come up in the failure episode.
Yeah, that was not a good moment. That was not a good moment. That was episode 100. For those that don't know, I tried to set my daughter up on a date.
Oh, so she could win a bet. It was your competitive nature.
It was to win a bet,
colliding
and
with your
actually,
loving
it was
parenting.
really going good for like the first half hour of the bit, and then I crossed the line by talking about she had met a guy at the last convention that was her only, or I said something about her only boyfriend. I forget what I said. It was something that, oh, my daughter was not happy with her
You
dad.
shouldn't have said tonight.
She's on a plane right now. She's not going to hear.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I think the funniest is the bit You Never Let Die for about 50 episodes, which was Natalie's backside.
Yeah,
That was like episode, 10 to about episode 60 or 70.
Natalie tried to take her
still
clothes
comes
off
in
on the
there.
show.
No, that's not true. Yeah, for those that don't know, that was a funny episode. Is that we were videotaping it, and this was when we were bringing in the phone. And Nat, do you even know this story? Natalie was bringing in the phone, and the camera's right back here, and she doesn't have any idea. And she bends over to bring the phone, and her butt is right in the camera. And didn't it like some backside go up, or shirt went up, or something? I don't remember.
Hilarious. We did not let that go.
Yeah, that was a good bit for a long time.
Well, there's a good bit right there.
Yeah, I liked it when you brought Kathy into the studio, and then also just have always enjoyed all the shameless plugs for morethandodgeball.com.
Yes.
There's another one.
Would you like a free T-shirt? Because I will hook you up. Follow me, my friend. Wait, that's weird. But anyhow, I will give you a T-shirt.
Yeah, no, they are shameless. Did you notice last night? Did anybody pay attention to that last night? Oh, you can download that at morethandodgeball.com/international this.
You did that just to promote your site?
This game brought to you. This game brought to you by morethandodgeball.com. How did that happen?
How much money did you put into this thing?
show is an award-winning More Than Dodgeball show. How dare you turn on it? How dare you? More than dodgeball.com. How dare you?
I've yet to see the award. No, it is a shameless plug. Now Josh is getting a little nervous since
I'm not nervous at all.
I started blogging January 1st at DougFields.com, and Josh is like, "Oh crap, I'm not going to do
Here's
it."
why.
He's not nervous
for
at all.
5 years, we've done the
In 2 months, you'll be done with it.
You know what?
I'm sorry,
That describes your blog.
Well, that's okay. I got no ego there.
LoveGodLoveStudents.com and DougFields.com. There's a little natural competition in me and in you, and so yeah, you're gonna destroy me.
No, I'd like to think of it as we would just encourage one another.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
I'm in.
So much encouragement. It's a major theme on the podcast.
It is. Just we're
mutual encouragement.
always building each other up to edify you, brother. MoreThanDodgeball.com. Where were we?
Got another favorite moment.
I believe Matt was running the live show, The Simply Insider, and the whole live audience was telling you things to do during the podcast, like grab Doug's drink and drink it. And
really? That old show.
It was a very early show.
That might have been me, actually. That was the few I was doing there, yeah.
So fun.
I feel honored that you would confuse the two of us.
Yep.
Jake is so much greater than me. That is great.
Jake is our best sub.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is our best sub, but
Shut up, Josh. No clapping.
he's so busy.
That clapping
so
brought
busy.
to you by MoreThanDodgeball.com.
I, of course, Matt and I know each other from playing WoW and that kind of stuff. I love Matt's little extra.
Playing what?
A game
World of
called World of
Warcraft.
Warcraft.
Oh, do you guys play that in bed?
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mark. Humor always wins here. Sorry, it always wins.
Matt's little, his little quick statements, like write it down, those kind of things.
Some great advice.
Those brilliant.
Write It Down was
Write
a
It
good
Down.
episode. Yeah.
It was
Thank
full
you.
of
Thank you
wisdom
for
like
that.
oh my
Thank you
gosh.
for
The
that.
one
Oh, we
time
got
I
some hands
quote a
in the air.
book.
Jake, a little faster.
My favorite episode was the first one that didn't have 3 minutes of intro music at the beginning.
Is that how much?
Oh, how about that triggers my memory of
when I did it?
when Matt used to do the show early on, and he would bring a playlist, and he was so excited. And the day, does anybody remember this? The day the Australian, I'm forgetting his name, the alligator wrestler that died.
Steve Austin, I forgot about that one. No, Irwin. Steve Austin.
The day Steve Irwin dies,
Irwin,
we're doing a
Stingray through
podcast, and Matt comes in, he goes, I got a great song. We get on the podcast, and it's Shot Through the Heart.
It's timeless.
There's no.
Oh, it was great.
No. That was. Mark is an interesting name.
Yeah.
I was fascinated.
I skipped over that one.
It's biblical, too. Hey, back here we have an award that some of these guys made on a plate that says to the podcast from MoreThanDodgeball.com if you want to keep hold on to that. And then we have a moment back here.
I would say last year at the live podcast with the weigh-in and Josh's good try. Good try last year.
Good try, Josh. We did a weigh-in last year?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. You know what? One of the things we're not very good at is follow through.
Yeah.
Is that we did the weight contest, and we never really sent the directions out, and then when people entered it, we didn't. And I like to blame that on Chris Davis, since he's all things technical. But
I'll take that.
Huh?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
The no prizes could have had something to do with Andy No Budget Brazelton too. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'll tell you, the one thing we have done since Brazelton moved to Colorado is once the podcast is done, since none of us get paid, we do take the Simple Youth Ministry credit card and go out to lunch.
That's right. And tonight, Steak and Shake.
Brought to you by More Than
Dodgeball.com.
I will go to.
All right, couple more.
One of my favorite moments was last year's live show when Doug tried to arrange getting the online premiere of Jake's new video on Matt's blog instead of Josh's. And I was just
Ooh.
wondering, in the name of unity and mutual encouragement, if the new premiere would be on Doug's blog this year instead of
It will.
Josh's.
It will be, but it's already loaded, isn't it, for you?
Oh yeah, it was up 3 minutes before it played here. So, no kidding.
You're not a promoter or anything?
No, it's just a really good video. Love that one.
My favorite moment, there's kind of two, when Matt had his luxuriously long and kind of greasy looking hair combined with
and
the
this?
blue velour tracksuits. And as I was sitting in my office watching the show, envious of how comfortable you looked.
Yes.
And also, as youth pastors, maybe we've tried this, but Doug, when you tried to get the word, it was chem.
Chem, yeah.
Really
Yeah,
to
that was
take over
really-
the country, and it didn't work.
Yeah, you know what? Here's part of the problem with that, Jeff, is I had no support. If I would have had, if these guys wouldn't have mocked it, I think it could have really gone.
It's got to be a better word. Chem was destined to fail. Not good.
Yeah, well, we should have talked about that like offline. I had no chance.
What do we talk about offline?
We
You
don't
just
talk
bring
about it.
everything up
I
in
know.
here.
I know.
Scott,
Okay.
how many times have you had to apologize to us?
All right, one of my favorite moments was a Matt McGill moment when he referred to sprinter's disease.
Oh my goodness.
What did I
Tell
say?
me you remember this.
You what?
You don't remember that? It was
will
like
not.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
I said what?
You were talked about sprinter's disease.
Sprinter's disease?
Yeah.
You remember this?
No.
I will
Sounds
not
like
even
something
repeat it.
I think you
I
talked
won't even
about
repeat it. It was
someone
too
that had a
much.
We didn't have to
disability or
edit
something. I don't remember if you did or not. It was live, so.
We didn't edit it, and we should have.
Okay, we edited you.
You're saying
for
it's bad.
Mark.
We edited the first edit from Matt.
Which I thought was actually should have gone. Well, maybe not, but it wasn't that bad.
Now it's not that bad, but then it was a big deal.
Yeah, it felt inappropriate.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it?
It doesn't bother me. I said it once.
Matt's back, everybody, with 4 minutes to
I haven't
spare.
gone anywhere.
Matt just showed up.
It was. We were into episode a few, and you had. We're so excited that you're doing the very first conference.
It was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
we were
it
doing
was
the very
5
first
years. You were
conference.
doing the very first conference, and so you were, promoting it.
We're
or
talking
doing
about the
that's
conference,
right.
and
How great
Matt
is-
says,
"Oh, is that the conference you're doing because you said YS sucks?" Which was totally not true. I mean, it was
was
great.
hyperbole to
It
make a
was
point or
totally
whatever,
because YS is excellent. I mean, YS is awesome, and so your face. I mean, there's only been like 4 or 5 times I've gotten like the full-on red Doug face. It was, so I knew I had won.
We edited it.
I could have died in that moment. It would have been great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm just realizing as we reminisce, we have kind of ignored Katie Edwards. And Katie, okay, great. Any other memories?
What was the sprinter's disease?
I will tell you, I will not say
It was
out
really
loud.
that bad.
Yes.
I can't even remember
Was
the
it
other
that bad?
No,
Oh, it
I
wasn't.
can't even remember the other edit.
All right,
He's gonna say
I'll
it.
give you the short version.
Okay.
He was making fun of a kid with special needs.
No, I was not.
I'm right. You know I'm right.
No, I was not.
You know I'm right. Thank you.
Look, that got that guy
I
mad.
remember
He's
it
gone.
to this day.
I would. That's not.
Matt, I can tell. I will never forget that
Oh
moment.
goodness gracious!
There's many.
I feel bad, and I don't even remember saying that. That's horrible.
We didn't set this up.
All right, Jake, do you have a favorite moment?
Yes, Danette said she's got one. She's nervous because she said it's a little serious. I said that was just fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's meaningful. It's not that serious. It's just not funny. But the most meaningful moment for me in the podcast was I'd listened to one. Josh had talked about doing a funeral and being present for the family. He just talked a little bit about how he ministered to the family. And then a couple of weeks or months later, a kid in my youth group shot himself. And I was I got word from his sister called me sobbing, and I drove through the Twin Cities to get to her house, and I was just really reeling. And the Lord really used that because I just remember being in the car driving, and then all of a sudden I really felt like it was the Lord just brought Josh's voice in my head.
Wow.
I remember it was like the podcast went on play, and I heard it, and I thought, okay, and I just kind of re-listened to that portion, and then was able to be there, and so that really meant a lot
That's
to me.
great.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
remember
That's
that.
neat.
I remember that
Wow.
episode.
You know what, that
5 years
actually-
and one story.
That actually feels like we ought to end on the one redeeming thing
Yeah.
that's happened in that, okay?
Look at that. I love the free iPod by Michael W. Smith.
That I do remember that. We got a free
We both got free iPods from Michael W. Smith.
That's right.
Which, if he's listening, I spilled some. I could use a new one.
Let's do this.
He's loaded. What's the big deal? Friends are friends forever. We're fine.
Friends are friends forever, and let's end on that. All right, Brazelton. Do we have, if there's not enough books at the tables, do we have extras stacked somewhere? All right. So I guess it's like a shark feeding then for the books that are at the table, but just take one. Let's do that. And let's do this, gang.
It should be whoever's newest in youth ministry that gets that book.
All right, why don't you make that decision? And let's do this. We are. I feel like I can speak for at least these two and myself in saying that this is so much fun to know that we have friends who listen, who write in questions, who actually care that we do this. It is true, I think, that we would do this no matter what. We probably just wouldn't record it if nobody was paying attention. But this is really, really fun for us. And for me, now having moved out of a church staff where I don't have constant interaction with people, Thursday is a highlight of my week as well. And it's very, very fun. So thanks for being a part of the Simply Podcast team, the family. If you have ideas, thoughts, send them. We haven't changed our show in 5 years. It's gone downhill.
We've changed our filing system for emails about 20 times, but the format.
When you say we,
well, after you lose them, you usually start a new system.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to say. I'm not sure you've ever done anything to help.
One time I printed up.
He's hosted the show.
Yeah, aside from being the host.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next Thursday on the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast. Yeah. I'm Josh Griffin, the host. These are some other people. Go to morethandodgeball.com.